No block, no rock.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Joined alongside Tim, live in Green Bay. Back to talk a little Packers this evening. Tim, how was your day, sir?
Man, good day. Beautiful day in Green Bay. Getting ready for Sunday already. You know, getting the house together, doing my ticket shopping, waiting for my buddy Tony to call me and let me know if he's coming to the game with me or not.
How many times are you going to come to my press conference late?
Exactly. So he's a little younger than me. You know, those youngsters, they like to do stuff last minute. So
I got you.
It's all good. But no, great day, man. How you doing, man? You feeling better or what? What's going on?
We're getting there, man. We're getting there. I think we're on the downswing of things here. We're just coasting away from the illness, so we're feeling good, man. I'll tell you,
Nice.
it's a fun day to follow the NFL and follow the Packers and all the information coming out, man. You talk about a multitude of storylines, Tim. They're everywhere, dude. There's no shortage of topics to talk about. I'm really excited about tonight's show. Hopefully, I can hold up for the entire show here, and we don't have to cut it short. That's the plan. And some people are probably wondering, why are you guys going live so early? I'm going to try to do this when I can. When there's a game coming on in that 8 o'clock hour, I'd like to do the show an hour early. That way you guys aren't trying to watch the show, watch our show, watch the game, that type of thing. And we don't cut into your football watching experience there, if that makes sense. So that's definitely the plan. But I know, Tim, you said you were doing some shopping for tickets, and I'm sure you're going over to the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since '92, specializing in Packers tickets. They're Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. You guys and gals just click on the link in the video description. That'll send you over to theticketking.com where you can register for free as a customer. Go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, that is Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. We appreciate them supporting the show. All right, Tim, first things first, man. This Jordan Love injury, when we seen him getting off the plane with no crutches, no nothing, right, just a slight limp, and the fact that they let him walk around on the sideline, one thing you could check off the sheet there was no ACL. That would never have happened if the ACL was torn. So that immediately steers you toward, okay, is it an MCL? Is it a PCL? Is it a meniscus? What might it be? And then as soon as the information came out, MCL, everybody's focus immediately shifts to what stage, right? And to the best of my knowledge, stage 1 through 3, 3 being the most severe, 1 being, the mildest version. You're somewhere between a 1 and a 2. And the fact that the first question that was going to be asked was, are they going to put him on IR? Because if they put him on IR, that says they're not comfortable with him playing within the next 3 games, right? There's no reason not to keep him off the IR if there's no chance of him playing. So the fact that they didn't put him on the IR, which we'll talk about here in a minute, Matt LaFleur's decision on that. I want to back up. I was listening to Wildy and Tausch earlier today, and for those of you who actually care about what the injury is, Tauscher explained to the best of his knowledge based off of his experiences with ligaments, things like that. When the MCL is torn or when it's sprained, every sprain is a tear. That's pretty common knowledge, right? When you sprain a ligament, when you sprain something, you're actually tearing something, right? Yep. So now how severe is that tear? With the MCL, like Tauscher pointed out, the goal is rest and let scar tissue build up over it, okay? And that's what's going to re-strengthen it. So that's why it's so important to stay off of it, and you're risking re-injuring it if you don't let that scar tissue really kind of form around the wound, right, around the tear of the sprain. So I thought it was really cool hearing Tauscher's take on that, Tim, and he was talking about way back in the day, Marco Rivera. I'm sure you remember that name. Great guard, played for the Packers.
Yep.
He played on torn MCL. And offensive linemen, like Tauscher said, as long as they could absorb a bull rush, then, hey, brace that thing up and go. With the quarterback, a lot different story, a lot more pivoting, a lot more. And it sounds silly to think that there's less involved playing offensive line with the strain on a ligament than there is a quarterback. But
there's also less salary involved too. You're not paying a right guard $200 million.
So we initially reported 3 to 6 weeks is what we're hearing, right? I tend to lean toward the 3 side because everybody was saying it was closer to a 1 than a 2 as far as the severity of the injury. So here's some information that came out today, and we'll just kind of dive into it. Let me give a shout out to everybody in the chat. First of all, thank you all for swinging through. I know we've already got several comments marked. We're going to get to the chat here in just a second. You know what? Instead, Tim, let's hit the chat, and then we'll get right back to the Aaron Rodgers news. But we'll just kind of set the stage. That's what we're going to open up with here, okay? AFAM in the chat said, how about we don't use Musgrave as a do-it-all tight end and put him in the best position to succeed? There is such a disconnect between Goot and this coaching staff. Before this game, I probably would have disagreed with you, AFAM, but there does seem like there's a little bit of disconnect there. I can't remember who else was talking about it today. It may have been Woody and Tauscher. It might have been one of their guests. But it just seems like first of all, it felt like Matt LaFleur was a little hesitant on Malik Willis being ready. But Goody obviously feels like, hey, look, LaFleur seemed to kind of defend Sean Clifford. And then Goody made a public statement after camp that, hey, you know, he more or less taking a step back in camp. I'm paraphrasing there, obviously. So it feels like there's a little disconnect there, but also trying to utilize Musgrave as a true Y attached and everything. Yeah. It's definitely not his game, right? You want him to be that extra man in 12, in my opinion. And that's really what we found out. We're going to get into some tight end talk here in a little bit of who is the true number 1 tight end, which is really interesting. Chris N says, say with Quay Walker, he's just not a Mike. Chris, I see where you're coming from there, and he probably would be more comfortable playing Will. The only problem is, to Quay's strength right now, I really believe it's his pass coverage.
Yep.
If you're going to have him in pass coverage when you're playing the Will spot, you're going to be man up on the running back more often and covering flat assignments. And Quay, with his size, his height, as well as his speed, to me, his strength is covering the seam. I understand exactly where you're coming from. If it wasn't for Quay's best ability being coverage, and specifically down the seam, like you've seen that interception, guys, that was just as much a credit to Quay as it was Xavier McKinney in that particular play. The rest of the game, cheeks. I'm not going to defend him, okay? It was bad. The run fits were horrible. But that's the only problem I got there, Chris, is if you put him at Will, you're not playing him to his strength, you know, which would be the first time we did that. You got anything on that, Tim?
I mean, let's be real. Quay's been the Mike for 3 years. You know, he's got the green dot. He's been the Mike. He is a Mike. I understand your, you know, feelings about, you know, where he might be better suited and that kind of thing. But I think Quay has proven that he can play that position in this defense. And you're right. You know, having him run in coverage with a linebacker, with a running back would be great. But not in a great way. We saw what he can do against a receiver. We can see what he can do against tight ends, especially these leaks or these crossers, little post over the middle, those kind of things. Quay is athletic, and I said it last night on the pod, and I truly believe it. His FBI has improved. He is processing the game faster, quicker. He's making the reads that he needs to make. So all in all, saying that he's just not a Mike, I'm not buying that anymore. I think he's proved that he can, at the very least, not be a liability as your Mike linebacker. But I kind of see where Chris is coming from here because of the talent that we have in this linebacker room. You know, you look at Edgerrin Cooper, you look at Tyron Hopper, some of these guys waiting in the wings, and you think, well, hey, can we just maybe mix up these linebackers a little bit, get some different looks, see what we've got? I would agree with that statement 100%, but I'm not on board with the Quay's not a Mike. Quay's been playing Mike since his rookie year, and it looks like he's going to continue to do it. And you know, we just got to stick with it and roll with it. He's a young player. You know, this is a big year for him, third year. So let's see how he does. You know, I'm the Mike, like you always say, Clayton. You know, that's your general out there, and it's a lot more than just your physical attributes. It's also about processing the game and getting your reads. You know, we talked about that in Chalk Talk last night, man. He picked up that go route immediately, and it led to a Xavier McKinney interception. So I'm on board. I think Quay is the Mike. I will say that.
Yeah. All right, there you go. So again, Edgerrin Cooper, I went back and watched all his snaps today, and I put a tweet out. We'll hit on it here in a minute. Tim, it was extremely small sample size, but that man looks like a dog. And you guys know I don't throw that around like, I'm typically the one. You heard me going into the game here against the Eagles. I was the one going, I don't feel so good. I'm more of that play it safe type person, especially when it comes to gambling or making I hate making predictions. I absolutely despise it. But I'm telling you, man, what I seen with Coop was like, whoo, this dude, that might be our linebacker of the future, as in like our Fred Warner type.
Yep.
People go, whoa, Clayton, slow down. It was 11 snaps. Thank you for telling me to slow down because I need to. I'm just saying it was that exciting watching him in those few snaps he played. It just didn't look too big for him. TC fan with the super chat. Thank you, sir. Sorry for the wait there, bub. Start, bench, cut. Malik Willis, Scott Tolzien, Deshaun Kaiser. I'm going to say start Malik Willis, cut Scott Tolzien, and cut Deshaun Kaiser. Just cut them both, all right? We're not going to bench any of them. We're going to get rid of those. Now, Scott Tolzien was a lot of fun to watch, man. That spin move that he put on that Minnesota Vikings player in that one game that he played for the Packers was just phenomenal. Old Scoots, you got to love it. And Deshaun Kaiser, I can't lie, fellas. I watched him at Notre Dame, and when the Packers traded for him, I was so hyped. I was like, oh, man, we got us a solid back. Boy, he was cheeks at the NFL. Oh, my God, it was so bad. But, I think if I have to answer the question, and you did pay for a super chat, so we're going to honor it. I'm probably starting Scott Tolzien. I'm going to bench Malik Willis, and I'm cutting Deshaun Kaiser.
You heard it from a fan right here.
And Chucker John somewhere is going, Clayton, I thought you were committed to our Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So, there you go. Tim, what about you, man?
I'm starting Malik Willis. I'm gonna bench Tolzien, and I'm gonna cut Kaiser.
Got it. I wanted to go that route, but man, I really liked watching Scoop play. He was a lot of fun. He was. But again, thank you so much, TC fan. Appreciate the super chat, bud. Breaking news here. I don't know if you guys have time to get them out of your fantasy lineup or not. Maybe set. But Christian McCaffrey is inactive tonight with a calf injury. So just so you guys know. And here's the thing. They won't let you change stuff on Underdog and some of these apps that do the daily fantasy stuff. They, oh, no, you already got it set in. Well, I picked the under on Christian McCaffrey tonight, so they better – I'm going to tell them, no, they can't change it on me. You know what I'm saying, Tim? So CJN in the chat says, anyone see the video of Myers at the goal line, whiff on a block, but ended up blocking Walker from his block? Both of them standing there as Jacobs barely got back to the line of scrimmage. And then CJN went on to say someone needs to make a video of all the Myers whiffs. CJN, they were everywhere. And what's crazy, Tim, is like Myers is so damn athletic. He gets out to the point of attack. And we did show on Chalk Talk. One block he did get out there on the perimeter and seal off for Jaden Reed.
Yeah.
Man, it was one of a few, and there were many on tape that was just like, it's like he gets there, and I don't know if he gets too excited or what, but man, he just can't.
It's execution, man. You hit it on the head. It's an execution factor. He's got the RAS, he's got all these measurables that we liked. He's been with the team. He knows what we're doing offensively. But yeah, there are plays where he looks like an absolute dog. And then there's plays where it's like, oh my God, get this guy off the team. Like there's no middle gray area with him. It's either, a raging success or a raging dumpster fire a lot of times. And that's why, Josh gets a lot of heat from the fan base. But I got to think at some point it's going to change, right? I don't know. Is it just, I don't know how long we can wait. I mean, we waited 7 years with Darnell Savage and we saw how that went.
Felt like 70 years.
I got to tell you, I like Josh Myers. He's a great teammate. I'll tell you that. He's a good locker room guy. The dudes respect him, and from a fan standpoint, there's really no reason not to like the guy other than when you see him whiffing or blocking his own guy, or anytime he's got his back to the defensive line. That's always scary when you see that on film. But yeah, I don't know. My gut wants to say, hey, ease up on Josh a little bit, but then I see things and I'm like, oh man, we have valid arguments here. what the hell's going on out there, as Coach Lombardi would say.
Exactly. Prince in the chat says, looking forward to seeing 12 ride again tonight, talking about the Niners playing the Jets. Yes, the Jets playing the Niners. And then Omer said, yes, big game tonight. We see that A-Rod and the Jets are made of. In San Francisco, if he wins, that the talk will start then.
All he's got to do is play more than 5 snaps, and
it's already a positive, right?
It's already a positive.
So you seen 12 out there warming up earlier tonight. I ain't gonna lie, Tim. I'm rooting for Aaron. Tell you what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for a Packers Jets Super Bowl. That would be phenomenal.
Oh my
How
gosh!
cool would that be?
Can you imagine? You can't tell me that old Raj over there in the league office isn't chomping at the bit for something like that, right?
If Jacob was in there, he'd be saying, "Oh, they're already drumming it up. I know they are. They're fixing it right now."
I'll tell you what, though, just looking at him here, I know this is just like, pregame walkthrough in your skivvies or whatever, but the old dog is definitely capable of learning new tricks. And Aaron's had a whole year off rehabbing and watching what happened. You can't write the Jets off. You just can't. And you can't write Aaron Rodgers off. You just can't. So, and they got a defense over there in New Jersey. So, and with 12 under center, you're always going to compete. So, how do you not root for a guy like that? That's like I always say, man, 8 is the Jets quarterback, but 12 will always be the Packer. So, we keep Aaron close to our hearts, and you want to wish him well, absolutely. Especially since he's in the AFC. I'm with you, Clayton. Let the Jets go ahead and have themselves a hell of a year, and maybe they'll knock Mahomes and Kelsey out of the mix, and we'll get us a Packers Jets Super Bowl. You never know.
Yeah, and listen, last year was a totally different story. There was draft picks attached for the Packers. I wanted them to fall flat on their face. I didn't want what happened to Aaron to happen, obviously.
Yep.
But I don't think it goes without saying nobody wanted that. But I wouldn't say nobody. There are some toxic fans. But he looks like he's in great shape, man. So we'll see what he's got tonight, man. 40 years old. I'm telling you, it's hard for me to get out of bed. I don't know how this dude's going to do it. Was he 41, 42 now, right? If I remember correctly. So
something like that, early 40s.
Anyway, I know there's someone right now going, this is a Packers podcast. Stop talking Jets. All right, we're moving on. I apologize. So,
hey, that's a Packer Hall of Famer right there. That's
right.
a first ballot Packer Hall of Famer. The number is going to go right up next to Brett Favre's in Lambeau Field. So we can talk about Aaron Rodgers here and there. I don't see why not.
Yeah. And CJN in the chat says, Love will be back just in time for Clay and Emilio to watch him play, talking about Tennessee. So what I did, guys, I put a poll question up when the show went live. All right. And this is what is this? Okay. Anyway, I put a poll question up, and here's what it says. Okay. When do you think Jordan Love will return to the lineup? All right. And here are the options: this week versus the Colts, week 3 versus the Titans, or week 4 versus the Vikings. Right now, week 4 versus the Vikings is leading the way at 63%. Then week 3 is at 23%. And then this week against the Colts, 14%. Okay. And I just wanted to kind of test everybody's pulse on that to see when they thought he may be coming back. Right. And yeah, kind of see where everybody's head is. Now, we had a lot of information that came down the pike earlier today. We're going to hit on that now. First of all, let's just hit this. John in the chat says, feel like we need to win this next game. This next game being at home against the Colts, I agree. If you win one of the first 4, if Jordan misses all 4 and you just win one of them, I think you still got a shot at that 10-win range, me personally. If you win 2, you still got a shot at that 11-win range. Somehow, some way you win all 3 of these, like I said, probably 13's on the table, maybe 14 at that point, to be honest with you, because that means this team really gelled well in the face of adversity. Again, if you can get 2 of these next 3, you're sitting in a really good spot. If you lose all 3, doesn't mean the season's over, but boy, it's going to be an uphill battle.
You're definitely behind the 8 ball, though, for sure.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. All right. So
I think what was your vote on that poll, by the way? When do you think realistically we see him?
I think it'll probably be week 3. against the Titans, and that's not wishful thinking because I'm going to be there. But just
a little bit, just a little bit.
Based off the information we heard today, and we'll go ahead and dive into it now, that's what kind of got me thinking. But I'll tell you, before all the reports came out today, if someone had said, hey, I think there's a chance he plays this Sunday coming up, right? I would have said, you've lost your mind. But after what we heard today, I'm like, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Aaron played with it, right?
Yeah.
These big offensive line played with the injury. Now, is there a chance of it doing more damage? Yeah, that's a fact. But I don't like that. We don't like that, Jam. We just showed up $220 million.
Right. That's that big factor, right? That's the Goody and front office factor of, hey, that's our franchise out there. Do we really need to rush them back, right? But I think I forgot if it was you that mentioned it, but I had heard somewhere, talking about Jordan. He really has been injury free most of his professional career. And so you got to think, something like this, maybe he does bounce back pretty quick from it. But my money's on September 29th against the Vikings for sure. Yeah. I think divisional game, we're at home. That would be a prime spot for him to return. And hopefully we win those previous two games. And Jordan's coming back, and it's almost like, we didn't really, our season is not in shambles already. But you're absolutely right, man. If he's out 3 to 4 weeks and they drop 3 or 4 games, we got our work cut out for us down the stretch for sure.
Definitely. If y'all would take a quick second, hit that like button for us. Feel free to sub to the channel, share it. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us here on this Monday evening as the Niners and the Jets are getting ready to kick off in I don't know how much time we got, about an hour roughly. So we're in good shape here. So here's some of the info I was referring to, guys. And well, first of all, Reef says, let's not rush Jordan back. I feel we have a strong team.
Yep.
I can't argue with that point, Reef. I really can't. Because again, if you're risking getting him hurt worse, it's definitely not worth that risk. So I had tweeted this out, and it was actually a video I shared. I'm not going to play the video out of respect for the McAfee show, but it says Adam Schefter appearing on the Pat McAfee show says the week 4 matchup between the Packers and Vikings, quote, could be a logical timeline and a logical spot for Jordan Love to come back from his MCL sprain. So when I heard that, this is before we got the news that Jordan was not going on IR, okay? So that came down the pike. And then we got this. All right. Full quote from LaFleur on Jordan Love. Quote, I felt a little confident, and this is from Wes Hocklowitz, by the way. I felt a little confident since he was moving after the game. He said, obviously he was in pain, but I wasn't even going to go there in my mind until I knew one way or the other. And thankfully, we got some relatively good news. All right.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
So he throws that out there. And then Matt Schneiden tweeted out, Jordan Love isn't going on IR, LaFleur says. Tim, this is absolutely huge news in my opinion. The fact that he's not going to be on IR, because what that simply means is you're not going to have to worry about him being out through week 4, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean he's going to play Sunday, though.
No,
my gut's telling me there's a 99.9% chance that Jordan sits for the home opener, unfortunately.
Definitely. So here is another clip that we had. I think I grabbed it. Maybe I didn't. I had a sound bite I was going to play for you guys real quick. It was from Matt LaFleur's presser. And Tim, you might be on call here in just a second to just take some stuff from the chat and have a conversation with the good folks, because I'm telling you right now, I'm feeling like I'm about to go call some dinosaurs. We still battling this thing. It's bad. Oh. So if you hear some hot tua here in a second, you know what's going on, gang. All right. I'm trying to be in good spirits, but this bug's hanging on for sure. Here was Matt LaFleur earlier today at the presser, and he was basically asked about the quarterback position.
And is Malik going to be the guy as you go forward here, and are you preparing him to be the starter?
Yeah, if Jordan's not cleared, then we'll start Malik, and Sean will be the backup.
What's the possibility, say if Jordan's clear, what's the possibility of Jordan actually being ready for?
I couldn't give you a percentage, but if he gets cleared, we'll give him every opportunity like we always will. And, I know he's doing everything in his power. I know he's spending a lot of time trying to get back as soon as possible, but certainly we're not going to put him in a position where he can't protect himself, that he'd go out there.
There you go. So obviously the top priority, Tim, is for Jordan to protect himself. Everybody in the chat, do me a favor. Fire some questions at Tim, okay? I'm going to have to step away here in just a second. But on the surface there, Tim, the big thing that stood out to me was it wasn't just, the fact that he said as soon as he's cleared, he'll play. That was a big, big difference from what I was expecting, man. I was honestly expecting, it's going to be a few weeks. And the fact that LaFleur didn't lead in with that, it really told me something. I'll be right back, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that statement. I wouldn't get overly excited, boys and girls, about, like I said, Jordan playing this week. But hearing Coach talk about him not going to IR and, the situation we're in now where if he's cleared, he's going to have every opportunity to play. That gives us some hope, I think, as a fan base for sure. Let's go to the chat real quick here. Jay Dome in the chat says, will Love practice? ? Because missing some time will set him back a few weeks, even when he does come back in terms of timing, rhythm, etc. I would agree with that statement on the surface, but I would also think that, Jordan being QB1, as long as he's, in the building, in attendance, knows what's going on with the calls and the playbook, I think, timing and rhythm are things that'll probably iron themselves out in the first few snaps of a game when he does return. As far as him practicing, my guess is anything he does, practice-wise is going to be probably extremely limited and probably would be more of rehab work than actual, reps with the ones kind of thing. But, time will tell. I would say keep an eye on, our trusted beat writers out there and see how it looks this week. But I wouldn't anticipate Jordan Love having any kind of, major reps on the practice field anytime soon, especially considering what Clayton just brought up where, you talk about getting the rest and, you want to be in a situation where you're allowing that MCL to kind of heal. So I don't think they're going to have Jordan do anything super heavy duty. I guess the one good sign is, it's a knee injury. So as far as him getting throws in, I don't think that would be a problem at all. Moving on in the chat, AFAM in the chat. How many feet are in a mile? Oh, that's a great question, AFAM. 5,280. Glad I could help you out. Let me know when your Google works. We also got Omer in the chat. Oh boy, Omer. Run the damn ball and let that overpaid $11.5 million running back earn his big fat paycheck. We'll flash it on the screen for a second. All right, Omer. So apparently you're not happy with Josh Jacobs. I get it. It's understandable. I personally think that we probably will see a little bit more of the run, considering that we're probably going to go with Malik Willis as your QB1 here this weekend. I would think that Matt's going to structure that call sheet around this young new quarterback, and we probably will see some more runs. We'll probably see, maybe a little RPO stuff, a little bit of razzle dazzle, nothing too complex, but I would agree with that statement. I don't think you're going to see, Malik Willis dropping back 100 times and, running through progressions and trying to make big time throws. I would think we'd lean on the run game. Josh Jacobs is that dude. Emmanuel Wilson is that dude. We've got some depth in the running back room. It'd be great to have Marshawn Lloyd at a time right now, but unfortunately we don't, and we're just going to have to go with the personnel we have. That's how it works. Injuries happen. Next man up. The old cliche. We've heard it 1,000 times. It's just what you have to do. We got Coach Monk in the chat. I'm telling you, Malik Willis is going to ball out. I love it. I love the positivity, Coach. I'm right there with you, man. We got to get behind our guys. And there's a reason that Goody made the move that he made there right at the end of camp. It's not as much of an indictment on, Michael Pratt as it is on the fact that Goody saw something in Malik Willis enough for him to go ahead and trade a pick to go get him. And we know that Goody values those draft picks. He holds them near and dear to his heart. He collects them like a collector. He loves to have picks in the draft. So to give up a pick to grab, Malik Willis says that they saw something there. They feel confident in what he's bringing to the table. And hey, we have to remember, guys, that we're not going to know until we know. We got to throw this kid out there and see what he can do. And I'm with Coach Monk right here. I think there's a strong possibility that Malik Willis may take this opportunity and run with it, literally, and have a hell of a game against the Colts in the home opener. And we get back on track, get right game at home. I'm definitely with that. If you guys are checking us out right now, make sure you hit the like button. That would be great. Helps the algorithm bring more content to Packers fans. We're happy to be here and doing this for you. I know Clayton will be back in a minute. If there's any questions you guys got in the chat, feel free to shoot them through. Super chats are appreciated, but make sure you click that like button. And also don't forget, check us out on Packernet as well, your flagship for all the podcasts. We've got John in the chat here. Can a post MCL injury be re-injured with non-contact football move? Is there a doctor in the house?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor, and there are no doctors in the house. But I will gladly give you some speculation. I would think, with a non-contact football move. So I'm assuming what John's saying here is, if Jordan drops back to pass and, sets that leg, is it going to buckle? Is something crazy going to happen? Could we see, something like we saw in the Super Bowl last year where he's, jogging out onto the field and all of a sudden, that knee gives out. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I would think that they're going to handle him with kid gloves here, especially these first couple of weeks, being that he is the franchise. Chat, if you guys want to jump in and give me your 2 cents, what do you guys think post MCL injury? Because it's important to remember that, this is an injury. Granted, he didn't blow his entire knee out. That's great. But, a grade 1 to 2 MCL is still serious. And I got to believe that it's something that can get worse if it's not rehabbed properly and not taken care of. So if there is a doctor in the house, that would be would be great if we could get someone to jump in and comment on that. But let's see, who else do we have here? We've got we'll just call you Legion. We got Legion in the chat. Willis is better than people think. The only problem he is not familiar with the offense. That's a great point. Malik Willis has basically been in Green Bay for a few weeks here. I don't know how much of the offense you can really grasp in just a few weeks, and especially not getting a lot of those reps with the ones. But I would anticipate practice this week is going to be Malik Willis with the keys to the offense, and go ahead and make those mistakes this week during practice so that we're ready to go on Sunday. Again, I think, Coach LaFleur is going to do the best that he possibly can as far as calling a good game and setting up, a play sheet that's going to cater to Malik Willis's strengths as a quarterback. And I don't think he's going to, try and give him too much on his plate to handle because you're right. I think you're absolutely right. He's not 100% familiar with this offense that comes with time and reps. And we'll just see how the kid does on Sunday for sure. What's up, Clay?
All right, we're back.
Woo!
Hopefully that's the only time that we have to do that.
How many times are you going to come to my press conference late?
Got hit with the late meet and drop on my own show. Boy, that's bad. That's how bad it's got. I heard you talking about Malik Willis. Did you pull this graphic up yet?
No, I haven't. I just hit the chat for a little bit. So this is
perfect segue. You didn't even know it, man. Good stuff.
Yes.
So Paul Brittle tweeted this out, said it's been just 2 weeks since the Packers acquired Malik Willis. LaFleur will now have to get him ready to start. Quote, he's grinded, he's learned the terminology, and is able to spit out the play calls, and we've got confidence in him. So if he truly did learn the entire terminology of the whole playbook, Tim, oh my goodness. I mean, that's phenomenal. Now, listen, one thing LaFleur's not going to say is come out in the press and go, yeah, this guy ain't got a damn clue what he's doing, So he's not going to say that. But that really is good to hear there, that he is. It sounds like he's got a pretty good grab of it. And again, he played in Tennessee the year that Arthur Smith took over for Matt LaFleur as the OC because Matt got the head coaching job. So that was Matt LaFleur's offense. A large majority of it was Matt LaFleur's offense in 2019. Now, I'm pretty sure – no, he wasn't even on the roster yet, was he? Malik wasn't. No,
I don't think so.
that would have been like 2020, 2021. So he has no experience. I keep getting him and Tannehill mixed up. So
Yeah.
he has no experience with the Matt LaFleur offense, because I'm pretty sure when Arthur Smith went to the Atlanta Falcons, I think they went in a different direction offensively. At least that's what it sounded like, hearing people talk about it today. So I know there were some rumors that maybe Tannehill might get a call. I think we can kind of put that to bed now. And whether he did get a call or didn't get a call, I know there's a lot of people trying to rake Diana Rossini over the coals. I think she's a quality reporter. I think she did hear something that they had called and reached out. I don't understand the people who are just so quick to say, no, she's a buffoon, and Tom Pelissero knew,
If anything, Diana Rossini was probably the one with the stones to actually run with that lead, and being the first. Sometimes with information, you're subjected to a lot of the criticism too. So I would agree with that, Clayton.
Yeah. So we'll see, though, man. Again, it sounds like Malik will be the starter and Sean Clifford will be the backup if Jordan Love doesn't get cleared. And Matt LaFleur was real vocal about it. If he gets cleared,
he's playing.
If the doctors clear him, he's playing.
Yeah.
We know how these Green Bay doctors are, though. All right. Like, yeah. I hope I wake up on Sunday morning and we're hearing the news, Jordan Love's active. He's going. That's what I hope happens.
And if not, I hope Malik Willis at least has the Cliff Notes version of this offense down, and Matt LaFleur calls a kind of a vanilla game, and we squeak out with a 7-point victory at home. That's the worst case scenario for me.
What I would like to see with Malik Willis, don't try to drive the ball down the field with the concepts we love, the wolves, the daggers, the dog, all those different concepts we like, the slot crosses. But what you do want to run, a lot of waggle, a lot of boot, right? Get them out on the perimeter.
Yep.
And work that short intermediate RPO game. Because you can throw an RPR into there, the same as they've done with Jordan. But with Malik, guys, Malik Willis is one of the fastest quarterbacks in the league.
Yep.
So, again, we talked about the reason we still see Quay as the mock right now is because his strength is pass coverage. Same thing with Malik. It applies, man. What's his strength? It's his mobility. It's his ability to make guys miss and his elite speed. So build the game plan around that, right? Get him out on the perimeter. Get the defenders thinking about that. It's amazing how much it'll open things up at that short and intermediate level for sure. So I'm excited to see what he can do, man. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And again, when things like this happen around the Packers, I don't just chalk it up, oh, crap, the season's lost, we're screwed. No, I'm not playing that game.
Yep.
I immediately shift focus to, okay, what's the storyline this week? What do we need to key in on? What does the rest of the team need to do to pick up the slack? All those things, right? I think that stuff's really important. And when you learn to fan that way, it just makes the season so much more enjoyable.
Absolutely.
It really does.
Absolutely. This is a team sport, right? You're a fan of the team, and it sucks to lose your QB1 for any amount of time, but you got to rally behind the backup, whoever it is. I don't care if it. I mean, we know Kurt Warner's story, right? Like, you don't think people rallied around him? The guy was bagging groceries, and next minute he's winning a Super Bowl. I mean, there is precedence for this in the league, so there's really no reason not to be behind Malik Willis until we see something on film that leads us to believe otherwise. If he goes out and craps the bed, then we can have those conversations. But I think right now we owe it to ourselves and we owe it to the team as fans to get behind our backup quarterback here and go into our home opener and get a win against the Colts. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. All righty. Let's see what else we got here. I was just kind of scrolling through the chat. There's a couple of comments I don't understand. I can't tell if people are arguing or if we don't want to open up that can of worms. So we want to keep this as positive as possible if that is the case. So what are you going to be missing in Jordan Love? I'm going to let this loop a couple times here, okay? This is one of the throws I came across watching the tape. And what I said in the tweet here, it needs to be said. We did a Chalk Talk segment, and if people are thinking, why didn't you include this? This was the throw of the night. And it truly was, Tim. This was the best throw of the night on both sides, both teams. But like I said in the tweet, every week there are plays that don't make Chalk Talk because they didn't really impact the outcome. With that being said, this throw and catch from Jordan Love to Jaden Reed gets me very excited for the next 5 to 7 years. All right, I'm going to let it loop here, and hopefully we won't get hit with anything. But watch this play. First of all, look at Josh Myers. God love him.
Oh, boy.
Keying on Josh Myers first. Look, he's set to seal this off. Cue up the circus music. Tim, it's every day.
I'm distracted by watching that film. Oh, my gosh.
It's crazy. Now, let's key in on the positive. Watch Jordan here. Roll left, cross his body, flick of the wrist. Guys, that's 45 yards down the field. And look at the catch by Jaden Reed, Tim. Like, this is wild, man. Look at that.
Yeah,
Boom.
that's impressive. That's up there with I don't know if you watched the game last night. Did you see the one that Cooper Kupp snagged?
Yes.
Tapper on the sideline. Like that was just absolute incredible receiver and quarterback play. And this play right here reminds me of that.
I'll tell you what else it reminds me of, Tim. The Dallas throw, Aaron Rodgers to Jared Cook.
Yeah.
This is the same design. Go back and watch that play. The way they did it, though, was they had the left guard jump out to block, and they had to seal off the edge, and they had David Bakhtiari be the personal protector over to the left, so Aaron could roll left. This play specifically, they did it with Josh Myers.
I keep watching Josh Myers. I can't.
It's so bad.
He looks like he's out there looking for a donut or something. Like what do I do now?
And the way he falls.
And then luckily he slipped and fell so that we didn't get a block in the back.
Yes. Like right here, you just got to hit him with right there. That's just not. That's not what you want your PP, your personal protector, to look like on that little rollout, that design rollout. So, but again, man, this throw, Tim, oh my God, bro.
That was for Josh Myers, not for the throw.
Exactly.
The throw was on point. You know what the best part is, though, like you said, Clayton, right here at the top. The instant he sees that middle of the pocket start to collapse, he spins out and he's rolling. No hesitation. We saw last year Jordan was a little guilty of hanging around in there a little too long. Mm-hmm. And, you want a quarterback to stand tall in the pocket and not be afraid of that pressure. But there are times when you got to break out of there and create space and extend the play. And that's exactly what we saw here.
I do believe that was designed, Tim. I really do. I think that play was designed for him to sell the pocket, roll left, have Josh Myers come out, seal it off. That gives you time to attack at 3 levels, because you'll notice he's got 3 targets, 3 levels. You got Tucker Kraft underneath, you got Jaden Reed in the middle, and then you got, I think it's Christian Watson running that go route down there. So
that would have been even more impressive if he had scoot on that go ball, throwing it on the run. But these off-platform throws, we see Jordan do these with regularity. That's not easy. He makes it look easy. It's not easy to do things like this. And the ball placement was absolutely perfect in a spot where our guy can get it and the defender can't. And you give your guy a chance to make a play. That's what these guys do. Jaden Reed is a playmaker. Throw that ball up there, see what happens. Worst thing that can happen there is an incomplete. Yeah,
definitely. And again, that's what you've got with the arm talent. These are the things that, like Greg Cosell was talking about with Jordan Love. The arm talent's there. Is he going to be the same player week in and week out? When things don't go right, he's going to be able to adjust and handle the pressure being a starting quarterback. I think he's proven that he can. So, just an awesome play. That was definitely the throw of the night right there, though. Just a phenomenal throw. So, with that being said, we're going to wrap up hour number 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we will see you on the other side for hour number 2. All right, Tim, next, the guy who caught that pass, obviously Jaden Reed. We're going to talk about him here in a second. I want to get to a little Edgerrin Cooper talk, if that's all right with you. We kind of let off with it a touch. I think Edgerrin Cooper has the opportunity to be, or the ability, I should say, to be an absolute dog in this league. You guys know I was hesitant on him. He was my 3rd best linebacker on my board because he just really did it 1 year. But that last year in college, man, it was historical type numbers, when they were talking about in terms of the PFF grade. And then he goes to the combine and absolutely shreds it, rips it up. I think Edgerrin Cooper is everything they expected Quay to be. I really believe that. I think he's got a little more instinct than Quay. The question is, how are they going to work together? And I think as it sits right now, get Edgerrin Cooper on the field as your will backer and let Quay play Mike, right? That's the way I see it at the moment. Now, here's what LaFleur said. Matt Schneidman tweeted this out. Said, Matt LaFleur on rookie second-round linebacker Edgerrin Cooper. Quote, I would anticipate him getting more time moving forward. Wasn't perfect on Friday, LaFleur said, but they obviously see things they like. And again, when you go back and watch the tape, Tim, special teams and everything, I'm going to share the screen again here. I'm not going to go full screen because I don't want to risk anything here with the channel. But you should be able to see these, and I'll zoom in enough, and we'll play them one at a time. This upper left here is him on defense. You're going to see him come in. I think this is the play. He flies in on a blitz. Look how quick he's back there, bats the ball down.
Wow.
Like that is, I mean, again, watch how quick, upper left. Bang.
Look how quick he roasted that blocker. I mean, that guy had no chance of blocking.
So
him.
fast.
Yeah.
So fast, dude. That's that elite athleticism we're talking about. So there's a play. Now let's go to the upper right here. And this is this the this is the shoestring tackle. So he's going to be playing outside linebacker. Okay. So look out here, right here. Okay. That's where he's going to be. Okay. So he's playing in this set right here. It's hard to tell. No, so it's strong left. So he's actually playing will on this play right now. Okay. And this is where it gets a little interesting because I believe that may be a DB right here. I'm not 100% sure, but you got Quay in there. It's probably a nickel set, I would imagine. So Quay is over the tight end. He's playing the Mike. And then, of course, you've got our boy Edgerrin Cooper playing will. Okay. So watch him how quickly he gets in and reads and recognizes this run play. And you can see with the front they're playing, they're going to try to run this zone right play is what it looks like to me. Okay. I don't think anybody's pulling here. Watch him get in there and make the play. Watch how quick he diagnoses it.
Wow.
Bang.
Wow.
Right. So, no, he wasn't at the edge. I apologize. He wasn't on the line of scrimmage. He was actually playing stack backer. So he is back here, right here. There's your will. Sorry. Look at this. Bang.
Yep.
And there's no – remember we talked about it, start, stop, shoot, start, stop, shoot. Watch him. Shift over, start, stop, shoot. Bang. You're in. He just – there's no hesitation in his game whatsoever, man.
Yeah, I mean, and to see this kind of FBI in a rookie is, that's I don't want to throw the word generational talent out there, too loosely, but that's certainly a positive. I mean, this guy's a rookie and he's seeing the game so well. And then you combine that with the athletic ability. Yeah, this guy's going to be starting very soon. We may see a change coming as soon as this week. You never know.
And when you're talking FBI, he knows, he recognizes this is a TE stunt, okay? So
Yeah.
the tackle is going to engage, and you're going to see Gary loop around. So what that tells is once the motion comes over, Edgerrin Cooper has the C gap. So he's got to get out here in this C gap. And again, there's just no hesitation. And that's the big difference between him and Quay is a little jumpy, a little hesitant at the point of attack. Edgerrin Cooper isn't. So let's move on to the next play down here and see if I can get it keyed up here. I think I can. Maybe. I don't know if we can get any further. We'll probably have to leave it right there. So I tried to zoom in on this play. This is the run fit responsibilities we're talking about, okay? So you'll notice Edgerrin Cooper's right here, okay? So once again, in this set here now, if you look, he's actually playing Mike as opposed to Will. Now, it's probably because of the specific play call, and that's what I was talking about, how they can be somewhat interchangeable when it comes to a nickel defense. But watch him fill this gap. This is going to be a run right into, I believe it's that B gap. It's either the A or the B gap. You'll see Gary kick in and attack the point or jump on the point of attack. But watch our boy Edgerrin Cooper fill and finish right here, man. And again, start, stop, shoot. Watch this. Start, stop, shoot, bang. Beautiful run stop.
If he's late getting over there, that's another 5 yards.
Absolutely.
Right up the gut. Yep.
And again, not avoiding this is a rookie, not avoiding confrontation either. Bang, he's putting his hat on a hat, getting in there and doing the dirty work, man.
Great job by Rashawn too, but
yes,
we say that every time, so it's nothing new for Rashawn Gary to do his job. So, but no, that's a great play.
Very unselfish of Gary too. If you'll notice too, he takes on two blockers and he knows he's got to do it. Watch him. He's going to jump to the inside shoulder and take on the second blocker, get hands on both of them. That frees up Coop. That keeps Coop clean to make the play. So
Absolutely.
There's another example. All right, let's move on to the next play. This is kickoff. This is really exciting. Right here is Edgerrin Cooper, okay? on this kickoff, I want you to watch him shed the first block. And the way he sheds it, he does kind of a speed dip. He just kind of dips under, uses his quickness. And then he gets to the second blocker, sheds that block, and makes the tackle. Watch this. Kind of hard to see. I know it's small screen here, but watch. See him dip, shed that one, bang, tackle. It's just, I'm telling you, man, every bit of tape he put, I don't want to say every bit, but 90% of the tape he put out there on Friday night was like this. That's why I'm saying it's a small sample size, and I'm not ready to anoint him. But I'll tell you what, he has earned more playing time.
Yep.
Get that dude at least 50% of the snaps at will this Sunday. You got, and you know what? He may take a step back, and you know what you do, Tim? You take a step back. If he plays absolutely horrible, which I don't think he can play worse than some of the others, to be honest with you, but if he plays bad, you take a step back, you tone the snaps back, you hit the film room, and you get better, right?
Yep.
But he showed enough already, and he's healthy. That's the main thing now. We know he's healthy. Get his butt out there, man, and let's get him on the field. Because, again, he was the highest-graded defensive player for the Packers. So, any other thoughts on Edgerrin? Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, if we're seeing it, they're seeing it on the film, and willing to be that guy, whether it's special teams or whether it's crucial plays, in the game, he's executing. You can't take anything away from that, and that's what rookies have to do to see the field, right? You got to make these little plays, and you got to be consistent and show that you belong. And I think you hit it on the head, man. I think he deserves more snaps. So. There's a chance we probably see a little less McDuffie or a little less of Eric Wilson, and you start to see Edgerrin Cooper peppered in a little bit more, like I said, as early as this weekend, possibly. But he's definitely going to be a major part of this defense going forward. I think he's one of those pieces that you've got in place and you're going to certainly build around. Seeing him and Quay on the field at the same time brings me joy. I think they just got to get that right collaboration of linebackers there, and we'll have a really nice unit in the middle for sure with Cooper.
Yeah, definitely. Allison, thank you so much for the super chat. Allison said, I like Jacobs and player as a team, like brothers fight together. Thank you so much for the super chat. Josh Jacobs, Tim, I know a lot of people were kind of down on Josh Jacobs. I want to say his average over expected, which is a really cool metric. And I think Ryan actually hit on it earlier this morning too, listening to his pod. Of the 4 games that have been played, he was leading the league in that. Now, I doubt he's leading the league now, but based off of what he had, what was provided to him in terms of blocking, I thought Josh Jacobs played really well. I think he finished over 5 yards a carry. And early on, it was ugly, man. That dude was getting hit in the backfield. Everything was getting spilled. It was real bad. Emmanuel Wilson dancing out there making things happen. Listen, Emmanuel Wilson had a better game than Josh Jacobs. There's no two ways about it. But you've also got to take into consideration, all right, when did Emmanuel Wilson come in? What was the situation? What was the score at the time? Because early on, you're trying to establish the run. Well, guess what? The defense is really keying in on that run. I thought Josh Jacobs turned out to be a pretty good performance. And I like what Allison said there too, as far as, a player as a team, like brothers fight together. Dude, you get a teammate like Josh Jacobs, who's been a team captain, and notice nobody was pointing fingers Friday. Like this team, I'm telling you, they're going to get better from this. Young teams they're going to grow from this type of stuff, man, no doubt. But what did you think of Josh Jacobs on Friday night?
I agree. I think that it was a rough start. It almost looked like like Jacob had a great point. He was talking about, oh God, it looks like AJ Dillon in that Broncos preseason game, right? Just running into brick walls. It was not a great start, but through the progression of the game, you started to see him settle in and start to make plays. And lo and behold, the line started blocking a little bit. You give that guy a little bit of a block, even halfway do your job there on that O line, and Josh Jacobs is going to make something happen. Again, he's a major threat in the pass game. I would look for that this weekend. If we got Malik Willis under center, look for a lot of those screens and leaks. Get the ball to Jacobs early in space, and get him a lead blocker out there. Maybe we got Tuck Norris out there blocking, and see what he does. He's a dynamic player, and I think the more touches you give a guy like that, the more potential you have for success. If you get away from him because he struggles early in the ball game, or your line is struggling to hit their blocks and your run production's not where you want it to be, if you shy away from that, you're doing yourself a disservice. Jacobs is a workhorse. He's one of those guys that, you got to just feed him the rock and let him go out there and make plays for you. So I have no complaints whatsoever about Josh Jacobs. He had a little bit of a slow start. That's about it. I think he finished the game strong, nearly 100 yards on the ground when it was all said and done. And, I look forward to seeing him carry the ball, for future games to come, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. J. Cole in the chat. What's up, buddy? He says, I'm telling you, expect $150 this week from JJ. Talking about Josh Jacobs. I could see it, man. They're going to build that game plan around him and Emmanuel Wilson. There's no two ways about that.
I love it.
And here's another one too, Jaden Reed. You want to help that running game, Tim?
Oh, yeah.
Every defensive coordinator, they're going to go watch that Eagles game and go, all right, when they put that bird in motion, when number 11 goes in motion, you better key in on them. Well, guess what that does? You fake that little pop pass, or you fake the jet sweep and then hand off to the running back. You get hesitation and you get linebackers and safety shifting. That gives you enough space to run that outside zone opposite of the motion.
That's all Jacobs needs too, right?
Yes.
Josh Jacobs is so good. I mean, if you freeze for a second, you're beat. It's over with. And you're right, Clayton. I hope they run that. I really do. I'd love to see Bird in the motions, and even if it's cheat motion running a route, or if it's just the deceptive, yo-yo or orbit motion here and there, and just keep that defense on their toes. And then we set up our complementary players, and we'll find success. There are ways to win ball games by utilizing your run game like this. And I think we're going to see it on Sunday. I really do.
Yeah, I do too, man. I'm excited to see how they show up for sure. Omer, let me start with this one. Said Jacobs made his yards on two big runs, 30-plus and 20-plus. Huge explosive plays. And again, when we say he started slow, he was getting hammered in the backfield. I'm talking about it was like 6 carries for 7 yards or something. And he ends up finishing over 5 yards a carry. Tells me all I need to know about him.
Yeah, and if anything on those plays like that, he didn't lose yardage. A lot of times your line gets blown up. You get a running back that's like getting happy feet back there, and you end up losing 3 or 4 or 5 yards on some of these plays. I mean, if anything, it was no gain, or it was, a half a yard or forward momentum, proving that Jacobs is who we thought he was, which is a great running back. And he's going to keep his, pad level right, and he's going to keep his legs moving, even if he's under duress. So, you give this guy an opportunity. Like I said, 1 or 2 guys doing their job on that offensive line. That's all it's going to take.
Yeah, absolutely. And he also, Omer also said 2 catches for 20 yards, 2 for Jacobs. So obviously playing a role there in the passing game. He went on to say Jacobs is the center of this offense until Love is back. I completely agree. 2-0 for this says Jacobs will pick it up. He's far from washed. Emmanuel Wilson deserves more touches, though. Completely agree. Emmanuel Wilson needs to be running back 2 all damn year. And they need to stop trying to find reasons for him not to be running back 2, because it kind of felt like that. I know he got hurt last year, but it just kind of felt like he's having to prove it, and he set back, prove it, set back. Get that dude the ball, man. When you get the ball in his hands, good things happen. I was trying to curb the enthusiasm because it was preseason last year, Tim. And then I heard former Packer running back, Wisconsin Badger running back Gary Ellerson talk about it. He said, what that kid did when he bounced that run out, that's not normal. That's what Gary Ellerson said. And I'm like, all right, this dude's played running back at the NFL level. He sees something, obviously, that I don't. And my whole thing is I don't want to be that fanboy that turns into another Jeff Janis 2.0. This dude's great in the preseason. What are we doing? He's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But when I heard Gary Ellerson say that, man, that really perked my ears up, because when former players talk about that stuff, man, I shut the hell up and listen. And you got to.
Yep. And Wilson looks like, to me, like a hybrid. He looks like a hybrid between, like a power back, your traditional power back, and then a guy that's like, I know it's going to hurt, but like, an Aaron Jones type, a slippery, right, elusive type of guy, light on his feet. He can catch the ball in the pass game, not afraid to go out there and throw his body in front of a lineman and make a block, or at least get in the way in the pass game or pass pro. Emmanuel Wilson slowly but surely is creeping up that list of guys that are complete backs. He's a complete running back. And I agree, we need to utilize him more, because That guy is an explosive play waiting to happen at any moment.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Jarrell Lee in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. He says, love our defense. We only played against the best running back in football, Saquon, 1A, Christian, 1B. Love Josh Jacobs. So, yeah, I mean, Saquon he's a monster, man. And that wheel route, that catch and toe tap, when you watch that tape back, it was a mismatch. Don't get me wrong. Isaiah McDuffie, and when you play man coverage, this is what you're going to get. It's going to happen. There's no avoiding it, right?
Yep.
But
and McDuffie played that the best he possibly could. He played the absolute best he possibly could.
Based off the pre-snap motion, him having to shift, he had to shift, cover his gap, bang, get back out on the wheel. I mean, when you freeze frame it, we freeze framed it on Chalk Talk. Tim, his hand was within like 6 inches of the ball.
Yep.
Like, it was a perfect throw. We talked about Jalen Hurts' accuracy. And Saquon, man, getting his feet in. First time through live shot, I thought incomplete. And they wrote, I went, oh, come on, there ain't no way get. And they played it back one time. I went, holy hell, how did he get his feet in bounds? Man, he's just a dog. Absolutely.
Yeah, and he's clearly in a better situation here. That's why he went and signed with Philly. You know, this was the team he needed to be in. You know, we're unfortunately for the rest of the NFC, you know, us Packer fans included, Saquon is in a good situation now, and I anticipate seeing more and more weeks like this out of him throughout the season, because he is. You talk about complete running backs. There's another one right there. Absolutely.
Yeah. J. Cole says in the chat, the Colts were horrible against the run this weekend. So we'll kind of dive into that as we get a little later in the week. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but we're going to basically start to jump into all the Colts information. All right, where are their strengths? Where are their weaknesses? What kind of defense do they like to run? What's their offensive scheme look like? All that stuff. I think that Anthony Richardson is going to give you an opportunity or two to create turnovers. I really believe that. This is just on the surface. I haven't dug too much into their defense yet, but if their defense is bad against the run, you go run heavy and run some of that boot action off of it with a really, really fast Malik Willis. And I think you've got the foundations for a decent game plan to try to steal a win there at Lambeau as Jordan heals up. Because if you can somehow, some way win that game, Tim, and then you come back the very next week and let's say Jordan does play, now, you're not going to be able to structure the offense the way you had it before with him rolling out a lot and all that stuff. You want to protect him in the pocket. We talked about it. Minimal snaps under center, right? Keep him from having to bend that knee. Just have him stand up and short passing game. Pick them apart, right? Work it that way. And be able to step up in the pocket, too, and hit some of those intermediate throws. But as far as that boot action, you may be a little hindered in that regard. But
I think if anything, this is a massive wake-up call for that offensive line. Those guys got to know how scary that was and why it happened. Why were we even in that situation? You know, why is Jordan getting wrapped up low and getting hit up high? It's a dumpster fire at the line. You guys are missing your assignments. Do your job and protect the quarterback. We don't have this problem. So I think the O-line is on notice after week one. And, you know, even in you know, tragedy, there can be triumph. And I think, you know, the best out of a bad situation is a lot of these O-linemen have certainly learned what they did wrong there against Philly. And I fully expect it to be corrected immediately.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Also in the chat here, let's see. We got MG Toe Legion. I think I'm saying that right. If our run blocking is the same as the second half, we will be okay. It did seem to settle down quite a bit, didn't it? Now, keep in mind, too, and I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy here, but, you know, it was a close game, but as the passing game started to heat up, that really does take away from the, you know, the defense's ability to just key in on the run, right? I kind of felt like there was a little bit of that. They started to key in on the passing game a little bit because Jordan started to heat up. But, yeah, they definitely blocked a lot better in the second half in the run game for sure. There was a lot more cutback lanes, too, there for Josh Jacobs to hit some of those big plays. Coach Monk in the chat said, you guys have a good night. Let's go watch Mr. Rodgers. Hope he does well. Hope he does good. It sounds like the majority of people are actually rooting for Aaron tonight. I love to see that, man, because a couple years ago, you know, it wasn't quite like that. And I'm sure Coach Monk still liked Aaron back then. But it's cool to see Packer fans kind of rooting them on now that there's not draft picks.
I put it in the same category as Tay. You know, we Tay went to the Raiders. You hate to see him go. That was a tough situation for us all. But you can't tell me when you see a Raiders game on or you see, you know, a little highlight reel that you're not looking at your boy Tay Adams and wishing him well. And honestly, I feel the same way about Aaron. You know, Aaron put in the work, man. He gave us a hell of a ride here in Titletown. And, you know, there's a part of him that's always going to be a Packer. And as fans, we feel the same way. So I think it's absolutely awesome that people are, you know, looking for Aaron to do well over there. And like I said, he's in the AFC, you know, go ahead and win 15 games. Absolutely. Have fun.
And then let's meet him in a Super Bowl and just absolutely smoke his head.
That's right. Then that's where all that fan stuff that rooting for him ends in the Super Bowl for sure.
Right. Drew D in the chat. Good to see you, bud. He said, how awesome was it that McKinney introduced himself with an early INT? Drew, it wasn't just an INT, man. That was Tampa 2.
Yeah.
He covered his assignment, read the quarterback, came back across the field.
Yeah.
And picked that. It was
unbelievable. Touched every blade of grass on that field on that play.
And there was no hesitation. It was just like smooth. All right, back pedal, half, bang. Where's the quarterback? Yep. Oh, you go, okay, yeah, let me just run over here 20 yards and snatch this ball out of the air. You know,
nothing like right away showing the fan base, hey, this is why I'm here. This is why I was brought in. You know,
Definitely.
I mean, you talk about a guy with sheer athletic ability combined with the FBI. Holy cow, that's Xavier McKinney. He knew that was coming the whole way. And again, I gotta throw some props to Quay Walker on that Tampa 2 set. Because if he misses that assignment, man, that play ends a lot differently. That play probably ends in a completion and then X making the tackle or something. So great work there.
Because if they're not playing, and great call too, if they're not playing Tampa 2, they seen something. And listen, I say Tampa 2 because the mock covered deep third. It could have been a mid-read play. It could have been a cover 2 mid-read, which essentially turns into Tampa 2 if the number 2 goes vert, right? That's somewhat matchy, but it could have just been a straight Tampa 2 call too. That could have been the case. But, it was just a phenomenal play by Quay as well. Eric Suttle in the chat said, I want to see Jacobs and Wilson both get 25 carries next week and Willis with 10 pass attempts. If he gets us a dub, Eric, sign me up, man.
That's right. That's right. We'll take it. A win is a win, right? Final score doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you got it. Just get the dub.
Yeah. We got 12 on the field suited up. Omer says, want to see A-Rod upset San Francisco. Yeah. This is one of the games I marked on the calendar, man, no doubt.
Yeah, see, that's why I highlighted that because, you know, however you feel about A-Rod or not, put that aside. You can't possibly want to see the 49ers win tonight.
No,
come on now.
No way, no how. All right, let's go rapid fire on some cool stuff that came down the pike here, Tim. We got about 13 minutes. You got 13 minutes in you, man?
Yeah, I got it, man. Let's go.
All right, here we go. This was really cool. Came out from PFF. PFF Green Bay Packers, the highest graded players in week 1 versus the Eagles. Zach Tom, 92.0. Jaden Reed, 89.2. Elton Jenkins, 78.4. Xavier McKinney, 76.2. And Jordan Morgan, 67.7. Guys, Jordan Morgan, albeit he didn't play like the entire game, but the fact that he's the fifth highest Green Bay Packer with a minimum of 25 snaps, that we always talk about it, Tim. If a rookie grades out in the 60s or higher, according to PFF, they tend to turn into a pretty damn good ball player. This list right here, and think about this: Zach Tom in his 3rd year in the league, Jaden Reed his 2nd year in the league, Elton's the grizzled vet, Xavier McKinney somewhat of a veteran, Jordan Morgan a rookie. 3 of those 5 players, extremely young players for the Packers, man. Pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been a while since we've had an O-lineman grade out like that as a rookie. You know, as a matter of fact, it probably was Zach Tom was the last time we had that. I mean, don't quote me on that, but you know, look at this list, man. We're going to see this. This is going to be a trend going forward. You know, these guys right here. I just see the list and I see dog, right. And dog. Jordan Morgan, I think he's gonna turn out to be a valuable piece for us. You know, we went back and forth, you know, after draft day, and you know, is he going to play at, you know, left tackle? Are we going to put him at right tackle? Where is he going to go? I mean, he may find a home at right guard here in this offense, and I I think with more reps, he could definitely go ahead and snatch that spot and be your starting right guard going forward.
Yeah, definitely. Ron Sample said Bullard gave a lesson about keeping your head on a swivel to A.J. Brown. Did you see that?
Oh, man, we'll always have that.
Yes.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, Ron. That was
Bullard
I almost hit my head on the ceiling fan when I jumped up watching that play.
Bullard
lowered the boom.
He did not have a good game, but that right there, hey, great play, Bull. And the way he stood over him, like, that's right, Bob. That's right.
Yeah, just enough little extra not to get the flag for taunting, but just enough to let you know that I'm there. I'm in that ear hole of your helmet all day long. I love it.
Absolutely, man. Coach Lynn in the chat said, does Lloyd get activated this week? That's a great question, Tim.
Yeah.
Well, we've got Marshawn, and this is if Jordan doesn't play this week, and I think we would all agree that's the way it's leaning. Let me check in on the poll question real quick. Let's see what we got here. Let me do this real quick. I want to see where everybody's at. The poll question now, we are how many votes in? 95 votes in. When do you think Jordan Love will return? Leading the way, week 4 versus the Vikings at 69%. Week 3 versus the Titans at 22%. This week versus the Colts, 8%. So I think the entire fan base pretty much agrees for the most part that little to no chance Jordan will play this week, but it starts ramping up starting next week. But
hey, let's go. Activate Marshawn Lloyd. Let's do it.
Yep.
And if the wheels fall off with Malik at quarterback, then we throw Reed back there with Jacobs, Marshawn Lloyd, and Emmanuel Wilson, run a little wildcat, and let's just manufacture yards and points, man. That's all we got to do. That's the only goal, right? Is just, get a win at home on Sunday. That's all we got to do. Keep the season going. 1-1 going into week 3. That's what we want.
Definitely. So obviously the talk of the night was Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed, just an absolute stud. And this isn't just a one-hit thing here. He led the Packers in receiving yards and receptions last year. The guy is just he showed up week 1 here and just absolutely dominated. The 33rd team tweeted out, every player that averaged 10-plus yak yards after catch in week 1. All right. Number 1 in the league, Jaden Reed, 14.3.
Here's a guy.
Number 2 was Jameson Williams at 13.7. Number 3 was Tyler Johnson, 13.2. Number 4, A.J. Brown with 13. And then Tariq Hill at 12.1. So Jaden Reed leading the league in 10-plus yak in week 1. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, some people were going, okay, that's a one-trick pony. He can catch after or run after the catch, that type of thing. Check this out. Separation yards, 33rd team. Separation leaders on targets among wide receivers in week 1 so far with a minimum of 3 targets. Number 1 in the league, Jaden Reed, 5.3 yards. Number 2, Jamar Chase, 4.4 yards. Number 3, Devontae Adams, 4.4 yards. Yep. Number 4, Devon Veal, I think is how you say it, 4.4 yards. Number 5, Brandon Cooks at 4.3 yards. Jaden Reed leading the league week 1 so far amongst wide receivers in separation. What that says is he's a yak king, and he can also create separation in his route running ability. Now, some of that is LaFleur drawing up a hell of a pass scheme, right, and scheming these guys open. But Jaden Reed creating that kind of separation, absolutely awesome. I threw my own little wrinkle in here too, Tim. I had to get a cool little stat applied here. I want to give credit to Eric Sutherland. Pretty sure it was Eric Sutherland in a YouTube comment. Shout out to Eric, who pointed this out to me, and I went and threw a tweet out. Jaden Reed versus the Eagles, 171 total yards and 2 touchdowns equaling 12 points. The Chicago Bears' entire offense versus the Titans, 148 yards and 3 field goals, only equaling 9 points.
The Bears still suck.
Jaden Reed versus the Eagles completely outperformed the Chicago Bears' entire offense. What's crazy is because that damn Kentucky Wildcat, Will Levis, threw that pick 6 and gave the game away in the last quarter, they still got the dub. We got to mention it. If you see it, you got to say it. But, Tim,
yeah,
that had me rolling. I was like, holy – at first, I got to be real. Eric, I love you. But I was like, I don't know, man. That seems far-fetched. I went and looked at the stat column. I went, holy cow, he is right.
Yep.
It's phenomenal.
He's special, man. Well, Eric's special too. We all know that. But
We're
Jaden
all
Reed,
special, Tim, on this show. This show
Jaden
sucks.
Reed is just phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can you say? Just give him more targets, man. More targets.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. We just had kickoff in San Francisco. Aaron Rodgers going out on the field right now. We're going to hit one more topic here, and then we'll wrap this puppy up. Actually, we got a couple more screen grabs. We want to hit this stuff in rapid fire. So about Caleb Williams. This is what you've seen in the preseason. Michael Lombardi pointed out the Bears fans absolutely attacked him over it. I pointed it out. The Bears fans absolutely attacked me over it. They showed one highlight throw from Caleb Williams, and everybody was like, oh, my God, he's phenomenal. His stats were horrible. He didn't play within the scheme of the offense. ML Football tweeted this out. Historic. Desmond Ridder and Caleb Williams are the only two quarterbacks in modern NFL history to have attempted 25-plus passes in their debut game and thrown for less than 100 yards. Caleb and Ridder. The only two quarterbacks in the modern NFL history to have attempted 25-plus passes in their debut game and threw for less than 100 yards. So the Bears got the dub. Yes, they did. But I'm telling you, man, and I want to say this about the Bears. Their defense is legit. Their defense looks phenomenal. Top 3, top 5 defense possibly this year. Caleb Williams, if the number 1 overall pick, this so-called generational talent, is the reason that they can't get over the hump, Tim, I'm here for that kind of laughter, bro. I'm just telling you right now. So
absolutely. I do think, though, with you brought this up last night on the stream, man. Watching that game, I only got to see a little bit of the first half of the Bears game on Sunday. Chicago's defense is real. That defense is the real deal. I'm not saying we should be intimidated or afraid or anything like that, but you can't write the Bears completely off because they have a legit defense. And any team that's got a legit defense has got a chance to win ball games. And that comeback win against Tennessee is proof of that right there. Their defense went out and got it done. They certainly didn't get any help from Caleb Williams and the offense in that game. So worth noting as Packer fans here in the division, we can't take the Bears defense lightly this year at all because they're going to give teams problems for sure.
3rd and 3 there for Aaron. Lazard runs a little sit, drop pass. It was right in the bread basket too. Alan Lazard still doing Alan Lazard things out there for the Jets, man. All right. Next topic here, Tim. We got 3 minutes, rapid fire. Tucker Kraft, this is PFF Green Bay Packers tweeted out. Tucker Kraft is the Packers' tight end 1. Immediate fantasy takeaways from Packers Eagles. We talked about it going into the season. I felt like Tucker Kraft was going to be your number 1 tight end because he does everything well, right? He does everything good. He can play attached. He can flex. He can play you. He's got to be the tight end 1. Musgrave, more of your flex, your receiving top tight end, right?
Yep.
The fact that PFF Green Bay Packers acknowledge that, kind of like, okay, so I'm not the only one who's seeing this, right? Paul Brettel tweeted out, he actually put a tweet out earlier that says, as John Dunn says, playing tight end is a 3-phase deal. For Kraft, it's that well-rounded skill set that led him to significantly out-snapping Musgrave. Quote, I think he's a complete tight end, and I think he's only scratching the surface. Now, he quote tweeted that, Paul Brettel did, and said, LaFleur says they're going to continue to work both Musgrave and Kraft, and the snap counts will flow with that depending on the game plan. And what they're meaning there, Tim, obviously, is when you got a game where you're going to be playing 11 personnel, the majority of the time, probably going to put Kraft out there. If you've got a defense that you're facing a defense that you want to expose with a flex tight end, probably give Kraft a breather, throw Musgrave out wide. And then if you're playing a team, obviously, where it makes sense to lean on 12 personnel and run the rock, just like the Colts game coming up, I kind of feel like that might be one of those. You'll probably see both of those tight ends in the lineup. So I don't know about you, man, but Tucker Kraft, he's got me fired up. Listen, he didn't grade out well. Another Yak King, though. Great play on that drag, taking it for, 29 yards, I think it was, 26 yards, something like that, and set up a score. That was the play that we showed that led to, I think, the 2-yard touchdown pass to Christian Watson. So we chose to show that play on that drive as opposed to the 2-yard touchdown pass because, again, that's what Chalk talks about is what plays, what happened, why did it happen, what are the most important plays that had the significant role in the outcome of the game. But What do you think about our boy Tucker Kraft, man? He seems to be stepping into his own.
Tuck Norris, man, the Swiss Army knife of the offense. I love it. I've always felt that way. I think like Musgrave is, he's a big receiver. That's what he is. That's how he's utilized a lot. Tucker Kraft, man, that guy is just pure tight end, almost prototypical. And we were concerned about him, as a rookie. We didn't know how he was going to progress. We actually thought Musgrave might have had the edge on him there in the early going. And he certainly turned out to be just a great pro. And you see him involved on all these plays, even when he's not getting a target. He's doing the dirty work. The guy does a little bit of everything. He's blocking. He can be effective in pass pro. He can be effective in the pass game. He can go out and, harvest a deer, have a bush latte, smoke a lung dart, hang out on the truck. What don't you love about this guy?
Right.
Tuck Norris, man, that's our guy. TE1 for sure.
Definitely. Drew D in the chat said Eric Stokes seemed to play pretty well, or no? I think he did, Drew. I think he was our best cornerback, believe it or not. And I know people are going, oh, no, Jair had the pick. Yes, Jair had the pick. Jair was also a liability on 2 crucial plays, one of which he misses a tackle along the sideline on A.J. Brown. The other was a 67-yard touchdown. If neither of those plays happened, I think the Packers' chances of winning that game increase tremendously. And again, it's not the only 2 plays that determine the outcome of the game. But Stokes, fundamentally sound, man. He may be completely healthy, and we might have something there. I sure hope so.
I think that old adage of you don't hear the cornerback's name usually means he had a good game. I think that really, really applies to Eric Stokes Jr. for sure.
And if I remember correctly, I think PFF had him as the highest graded corner on our team too, Tim, for that game.
Yeah, I believe it. Like I said, the only knock I've got is because, last year the knock was the ball tracking, right? When he was able to get back, it looked like he was pretty good in coverage, but then he'd have trouble locating the ball on a lot of those deep shots and in pass plays. I feel like he's kind of shored that up, but, the issue now seems to be the tackling. I mean, he got absolutely dog walked by Saquon and a couple of the guys from Philly in Friday. And, you got to make those plays, even if you're not. I mean, we know you're a DB. We know you're not going to lower the boom and, lay guys out on every play, but you got to be able to wrap up, and get, at least stop momentum and get a guy down, especially in the open field. I think if he shores that part of his game up, we could see a really phenomenal season from Stokes this year.
And there's just there's no technical approach to Jair's game, and it drives me insane because he's got all the talent in the world. But when you're playing that cover 1 man look, I heard somebody on a podcast earlier today, Tim, they blamed Javon Bullard on the play. He over pursued. That shouldn't have been a touchdown. That's on the safety. I'm going, Jair was they were playing cover 1 man. So he knows his only help is down the seam.
Yep.
So what you've got to do is you have got to play deep outside technique and funnel it toward the inside, if anywhere. They run a little stop and go, a little out and up route, completely bit on it, cooked. And it wasn't even that he bit on the out and up. When he bit on the out and up, he got his head around like, okay, where's the ball? It's like, bro, you've got to get back. You can't do that, man. You can't. Omer points out Jair gave up over 100+ yards versus Brown. That's just woo.
And as far as the safety over pursuing, usually that only happens because a corner got roasted. If you got a safety that's got to come in fast and hard, somebody probably didn't do their job.
Yeah, exactly. And Greg Rouse will end it here. He says, Carly, can you message Clayton in this chat? Clayton, can you leave the stream open for the New York Jets San Francisco game or make a new one? What I'm going to do, Greg, I can't leave this one open, but I will create I'm going to create another one for tomorrow's show. So you'll see that pop up here real quick. I'll try to do it before I even upload the pod. I can't keep this one going because I got to download the audio from it and get it out there ASAP to everybody wanting to listen to the podcast. So I apologize for that, but look for tomorrow's stream to pop up here within the next 10 minutes. Okay. I'll get that up. I'll prioritize that over getting the pod up real quick. So thank you for understanding there. Let's give a quick shout out to our super chats tonight. TC fan, thank you so much, buddy. And Miss Allison Tuckwad, thank you for supporting the stream. We appreciate y'all so much. So with that being said, we're going to get out of here. Y'all enjoy the game. I believe they just forced a turnover. Might have been an interception. Fred Warner, surprise, the best linebacker in the game. But should be a dandy here. We'll see how this goes. Again, actually, it might have been a fumble because they're showing a running back. He looked like me when I forget to take the trash out. Damn, it's Monday, ain't it, Tim? I got to take the trash down.
Oh man, you reminded me too. We got the same trash day, man. I gotta get mine down to the curb too.
I got about 100-yard walk with two big cans, you know. So here we go. Y'all, seriously, thank you so much for supporting the stream, supporting the channel. This was a lot of fun tonight. We'll be back tomorrow to talk more Packers. And again, Greg, I'll get that up for you as soon as we get out of here. Okay. Thank y'all so much.
On the pod.
Thank you for making us part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. And go Pack, go.